You're tuned in to Getting to the Root of It, focusing on healing and letting go of the wounds of addiction and other unresolved traumas of the past. Your breakthrough begins with you. Are you ready to change your life? Stay tuned as your host, expert therapist, personal development coach, and spiritual cheerleader, Natashah Khan, inspires you to live the life you were destined to live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Getting to the Root of It. This is your host, Natashah Khan, and we are here today because I have yet again another special guest that is joining me on my show today. I'm going to leave for her to introduce herself, but her name is Dawn Airhart Witte, and we've only known each other for probably just a few months. But I have to tell you guys, and for those of you that know me well, know that everything in my life is, very divine driven, and it's all for purpose. So thanks to my producer, Gail Flowers, I had gotten connected with Dawn and also with Portia Booker. They both had a hand in getting me connected with Dawn. And in my very first conversation with Dawn, we felt like we were just soul sisters. We connected in a way spiritually that I have to tell you guys, it's the God of my understanding knows what he's doing, and I so greatly appreciate him. And in the short space of time that we've gotten to know each other, Dawn she's just a beautiful human being. I'm going to give her the opportunity to share with you guys, who she is and what she's done over the years and what's brought her to this present place and in her life. And you guys will also get to see how amazing that she really is. She's just, I often say she's not from this planet just because she's got such a great heart and she's got such a great soul. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about Dawn's history and kind of her life experiences that has brought her to present day. But we're also going to be talking about her upcoming book launch, as she is the visionary behind her recent book called Believe, which I have the pleasure and the honor of being able to write a chapter in this amazing book that she is coming out with. And Dawn is also going to share with us a little bit of what has driven the vision behind this new book. So I don't want to take up all the time, so I'm going to turn it over to Miss Dawn Airhart Witte. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you please tell our audience just a little bit about you so they can get to know your heart the way that I got to know you within minutes of talking to you?
Thank you so much, Natashah Khan. I cannot say your name without singing it like that. Yes, from the first moment we met, I remember seeing that you were from Trinidad and my mom's from Trinidad. And so that instantly connected me to you. And then when we spoke, I just really felt that connection. So I am so grateful to have you in my life, to have you in this book. And you're going to also be joining us on our podcast. So I'm super excited about that too.
Oh,
At more soulful conversations, because I feel like I could talk to you forever geek out on all the stuff that we talk about. But my name's Dawn Airhart Witte. I live in Los Angeles. I am the founder of the Desire to Inspire Foundation. I've written a few books, and my favorite title of all is being a mom. I love being a mom. I love being a mom. I love nurturing my friends, nurturing children. They don't have to be my children, or they could be my pets. They could be other people's children. I just have this mom spirit in me. I don't know if it's because I'm a Virgo. I'm not really sure, but that drives everything I do. Like my motivation and everything is just, the thought that there's a child out there that doesn't feel loved or special, that is what moves me and motivates me to do what I do, because I don't want that to be.
where do you think that comes from? And I say that because, we all say it every day that, we love children and we love our families. And I don't doubt for anybody out there that we don't love the people that we love, right? But everybody has their own experiences that sort of drive them to that place. What do you think that drives you to just have that heart for not just your children, but even you said children that aren't even yours?
I think when I was little, I didn't feel loved. And so I don't want another child to feel like that. Like that's a terrible way to feel. And so if I can be that person that makes me cry, if I can be that person to let that child know, you matter, you are significant, you are here for something incredible, that only you can do. If I get to be that person to plant that seed in someone's head, then that gives me purpose.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm I may be a little girl on the inside, but in the short space of time that I've gotten to know you, with every conversation that we have, you definitely do that for me, right? You always remind me of how amazing I am, on the days when I'm struggling and we talk about that imposter syndrome, or I don't believe that enough in myself. It takes nothing of you to just share your heart with me and to empower me and encourage me and inspire me. So I can only imagine, if you can do that for me, for someone you've only known a short space of time, I cannot even begin to imagine what you do for those in your life that you've known for so much longer. So just thank you for being you and realizing, I always used to say, and I still say it today, hurt people, right? But in your case, you may have been hurt in your life, but you've not allowed that hurt to consume you and transcend in a way that it's portrayed negatively, right? Sometimes people are hurt and they hold on to that hurt and then they perpetuate that cycle and then they hurt other people. So I love to see that despite whatever you may have been through in your life, you've been able to take that and turn that around, right? And you're able to bring so much love and joy and peace and fulfillment to other people. And I'm sure it probably brings the same level of joy, hope, and fulfillment to yourself. Is that fair to say?
It truly is. I think that we are given our greatest challenges in life to learn something from it. And we were given that for a reason. So because I had the mom that I had, I think that compelled me to be the mom that I wished I had with my own children. And then again, show up as the person you would love to have in your life. In any relationship, that's what I want to do, whether it's at the grocery store or with my own children, or, I want people to leave me better than when they met me, whether it's like making them laugh, making them smile, making them feel good about themselves. That's what I want to leave people with in every interaction I have.
No, there's no doubt about it. I'm just stunned by that. I don't meet a lot of individuals like yourself on an everyday basis. You know what I mean? So you're definitely a breath of fresh air. Can you talk to us a little bit? You had mentioned to me before, and hopefully it's okay to bring this up, that you have taken a few trips outside of the United States. And is it to Africa that you've been?
Yeah, I've been to 5 countries in Africa.
5 countries. So when I was a little girl growing up, it used to always be my thing. And I wanted to do mission work overseas. And I know people do mission work all the time and, always wondering what drove them to do that mission work. You being a beautiful woman and soul into that soul connected family that I have, you're the first person that I actually know that I can talk to find out what drives someone to just sort of leave what we're comfortable with. What drove you to do? Because as much as I wanted to go overseas, I've never pursued it. And I'm not really sure what has maybe stopped me in my tracks. So can you tell us a little bit about what took you overseas and what were you doing over there?
Well, first of all, I think everything happens in divine time. So your time is coming. I wasn't going to pick up and leave my girls for a month at a time when I was raising them. So it had to be the right time in my life. And when I started, I was a stay-at-home mom raising my girls. I was PTA president. I was soccer coach. I did everything for my girls and I was completely enmeshed in their lives. And then when they got to be college age, I had to look at my life and say, I don't want to just cook and clean and, run errands all day long. That's not what I want to do in this world. So I had to start, asking myself, what do you want to do? What does the next chapter of your life look like? And I started going to conferences. I got my life coaching certification, took courses, and then I was at this Glamour Women's event in Los Angeles, and we had this mixer after the speeches during the day, and I saw this beautiful woman wearing this beautiful dress and this beautiful necklace, and I had to compliment her on it because it was just so amazingly stunning. And she said she's from Ghana, and she was going to be, I said, oh, I've always wanted to go to Africa. And she goes, you should come. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? I've always wanted to do it, just like you. From the time you were a little girl, there was something in you, but it wasn't time yet. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go. And our schedules did not match, so I did not get to go meet her in Ghana, but I went anyway. And it changed my life. I just thought I could be of service.
So you went without her?
I went by myself. I didn't know anybody.
That is wild to me. I know people do that every day, but it's just wild to me. But so tell me a little bit. So you get there, what is it like? And did you have any sort of purpose of going there other than you just wanted to sort of experience its culture? and the people, or did you sort of have a mission in mind, or what evolved as a result of you visiting?
I just wanted to go meet those children that I'd seen when I was a little girl, and always just thought, how can there be, children that are hungry? Like, if I meet children that are hungry, I'm going to do something about it. And I wanted to meet them. I don't know why I was called to Africa. I did a shamanic journey after I'd gone on a few trips, and we went to the spirit world and asked, a question, whatever question we wanted. And that was my question. Why Africa? Because I'm half Indian. Like, why not India? That would make more sense.
Right.
But the answer I got, I saw this image of beautiful children raising their hand. And I'm like, that's why. It's for them.
Why are you gonna make me cry?
I know, it makes me cry. I started crying during that because I was like, that's why. I don't have to know more than that. There doesn't have to be another reason.
And so you just stepped out in faith, that blind faith. You had no questions. You didn't know anyone. You didn't know where you were going. You didn't ask any questions. You just knew in your heart you needed to do it, and you just took out and took that leap of faith.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's a true testament to what I talk about a lot of times, whether it be on this show or with my clients privately. And for myself in the past, it had been a struggle of, we want to do things, right? We all have these great ideas, or we may have these passions, but a lot of times our insecurities, fear, or asking 10,000 questions and not having the answers to those questions, a lot of times that stops us in our tracks from really, just stepping out in that faith and doing something different, or doing something boldly, or just doing something that the God of our understanding has called us to do. So it's breathtaking and refreshing to hear you just be like, my children are grown. I've served, I've done my best as a mother to do what I needed to do for them. And this was my time. And you didn't allow fear, or you didn't allow, even if I'm sure you may have felt some fear, right?
I didn't. That's the crazy part. I remember a few weeks before I left, my daughter came and she goes, so Mom, you don't know anybody there and you're not going with anybody. She goes, should I be worried? I said, I'm not. For some reason, I'm not. And sometimes when we're driving through these remote villages and I'm in the car with, a bunch of men and it's just me, and, I'm looking around going, I could be afraid, but there's not an ounce of fear within me here because I'm doing what I love.
I was going to say, and that's the divine purpose, right? Because the God of your understanding and whom you believed in needed you to be there, right? You say everything happens in its right time. That was the right time. You needed to be there. It needed to happen. So as a result, there's nothing to fear.
Right.
So I think that
I also will say this, one day I'm going to meet the end of my days. Nobody knows exactly what day that's going to be in our lives. So I always think, if something did happen to me, you know what? I'm doing what I love. So there's no downside there.
Absolutely. There's only everything to gain, nothing to lose.
Yes.
All right. So now you've been back. You said you've been to 5 different places in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, do they call them provinces?
They're countries.
Countries. Okay. Now, in those 5 places, how many times have you, after the first visit, how many times have you been back?
I've been back. I've spent almost 4 months. I've been there 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 times. And each time I go for about a month.
Now, I heard you have done some pretty cool things. Would you like to share with the audience some of the cool things that you've done, or some of the ways that after being there, experiencing the culture, experiencing the lives and the children, and I also know, and I'd like to hear a little bit about your foundation, but what is it that you started doing over there once you started visiting and getting sort of a lay of the land?
Oh my goodness. I remember coming back home saying, I love these children. I can't go back home to, my comfortable life and know that they're struggling for the things that they're struggling for and not do something about it. So I'd actually started the foundation before I went to Africa. And that the focus of the foundation was to help inspire people to their own greatness and think about the world in a more positive way. And then when I went to Africa, I thought, oh my gosh, talk about inspiration. These people who are struggling for things like water and food on a daily basis, they're so loving and generous and kind, and there's so much joy. And I think, look at us in America with all of the luxuries that we have accessible to us. and we're depressed and, like mad and jealous and like all these negative things that happen in our lives. I'm like, I want to bring the inspiration of Africa back here to help people like see how blessed we truly are. And no matter what we're going through, we can always find something to be grateful for.
Whew, that is so powerful and so true. Coming from the islands, my parents said it all the time. They came to the United States to just give us, more opportunity for school and for our careers, etc. But my parents said living in the islands and living with less than what they have today, it came with a lot less stress. They find themselves more stressful and dealing with a lot more stuff that they didn't have to deal with back home. And ironically, growing up, I viewed us as being poor. We didn't have certain things. When my parents were growing up, they didn't have running water in their house. So in my mind, we're poor, but the reality is they still had water. Because what you're sharing with me, there are some countries that you visited where they didn't even have any sort of water or access to water or running water. And it just shows how sometimes we as human beings, no matter where we are in this world, oftentimes can take for granted what we do have. And we're always focusing on, what's ahead. What can we get more of? What can we do, right? We're always looking to keep getting more and more and more and more and more, rather than just sort of appreciating, hey, this is what we have. Let's work with this. Let's make the best of it. Let's take what we have and share that with the masses, right?
Yes.
So
you're very me-centered, me-centric, me. And I understand about self-love and appreciate that too. But I think when you are struggling for things, you understand that I am because we are. You understand that we're all connected and we're going to get through this, but we're going to get through it together. You understand that notion.
It's so interesting because I was reading my devotional this week. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, that talked about that, we as people have all these self-help books, and we have audio books and podcasts and all these different shows, etc., talking so much about self-care, right? But oftentimes we're not learning that it's not just about the self-care. There needs to be a balance. So we do need to exercise self-care, but if I am a big believer that anything taken to the extreme, anything that we do to the extreme is detrimental to our health. So if I now make it about me and I'm only taking care about me, it becomes very self-centered as a result of that. And so now I'm not finding that balance to be able to love myself and also learn to love those around me, and recognize that, I have plenty, I have more than enough, that, I even use as simple as a smile, right? And we're not even talking about food, water, a simple thing as a smile. I walk around, you go to the stores and people just look, they're either on a mission and they're focused and they don't make eye contact. People don't smile anymore. People don't say hello anymore. And it's like, I'm sure we have enough of just that to give, right? But we're so consumed about the me and what do I need to do and what do I need to get and how I need this and I need that, that I think we lose sight of that we're not the only ones that are living in this world. And it's interesting you talk about all about me. That is sort of the crux of where, and I don't want to spend too long on this, but with this podcast and with my audience, we talk a lot about mental health and substance abuse. We talk about addiction. And with the illness of addiction, it is all, when you're in active addiction, it is all about you. But what people fail to realize, the reason why they make it all about them is because when they were younger and they were growing up, they didn't feel like that any of it had anything to do with them. They didn't feel loved. It's just like what you said when we started this podcast, right? You didn't feel loved growing up, and you wanted, as you grew older, to ensure that other human beings, other children didn't feel what you felt. Well, on the opposite side of that, there's some people who grow up not feeling certain things or not receiving certain things. And like I talked about, they hold on to it. And this is what manifests into a lot of addictive issues that we have in this country. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to hear you share on this, because I want all of my listeners to understand, because so many people get caught up with, well, my loved one is addicted to this and my loved one is addicted to that, or this person, is depressed and they're anxious, but it's beyond the symptom, right? Or it's beyond the diagnosis, so to speak. There's so much more on a deeper level that we need to get to and realize that so many people are emotionally neglected and or emotionally deprived. And as a result of being starved emotionally, we find ourselves tapping into things outside of ourselves to feel comfort, to feel joy, or to feel wholeness. Okay. This kind of rolls me into your book, and hopefully I'm not being too premature with this, but talk to me a little bit about with this heart that you have, and you living this divine purpose, and you responding to this God of your understanding. Talk to me a little bit about what is your belief in a higher power, and how does a higher power play into the whole me concept?
Oh, this whole book has been just the most magical. There is a divine hand on it from the moment I thought about this. I thought about the title 7 years ago. And I write about this, so I don't want to give too much away, but 7 years ago, the title came to me and I'm like, I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know what that book is going to be. I don't know why I want to write a book named Believe, but I fast forward 7 years and I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense. So the seed was planted. It was planted a long time ago. And, I was skeptical my whole life growing up about religion, about God. I questioned God because I'm like, how does God let all this stuff happen? And when I started understanding and stepping out into faith and saying, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come from going to Africa, but I just feel a calling and I'm going to do it. There's where that faith comes in. And, you don't have to always understand the why, but know your why, that love is why I'm here. That's what I remember asking once, before I went on my journey of self-discovery, like, God, what am I good at? Like, what do I do next? And the thought that came into my head was, how to love people well. I'm like, well, what do you do with that? But now that I look back, I'm like, you know what? But I think love is the reason that we're all here. And so that's the best thing to be good at. But I had to turn that into something of some value. You don't just like put on your resume, hey, I know how to love people really well. You have to do some work behind it, but love is what motivates and drives me in all that I do. And the book is part of that. It's my love of humanity. And it's also the experiences that we've all went through where we doubted, like, why, how could this be happening? And then what came out on the other side, so that you can see there's a defined hand even in the struggles that we go through.
Well, I think you just said something really important that just kind of struck me, is that oftentimes when we're going through our struggles, we ask why. And it's almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like even though you may have asked the why, you didn't sit around long enough to wait for the why to be answered, because sometimes we don't always get the answer to the why. It was also almost like you may have asked why, but you still did it anyway. And I say that because I think oftentimes when life goes wrong for us or life doesn't work out, we'll ask why, and then we get stuck in the why. And it's like we're waiting for the answer. And if we don't get the answer, then it's almost as if we can't move on or move forward with our lives. Have you experienced that before? And I guess my question to you is, like, what made you not wait around to get the why answered? I guess I'm fascinated by, for me, when life had hit me hard and I wanted to know why, not getting the answer and feeling emotionally deprived and emotionally neglected, I started believing that this God that people spoke of, or this God that I knew, or this power greater than myself, I didn't believe it existed, right? Because of I'm asking why and I'm not getting an answer, and all these bad things just keep continuously happening and happening and happening. So how does one ask the question, not get the answer, and still keep moving forward or moving through despite what they've gone through? Does that make sense?
I never have wanted to be a victim. I don't see myself as a victim. I refuse to be a victim. And so anything that happens in my life, I'm going to take the lesson. I'm going to find the gratitude. I mean, I've talked about this on numerous podcasts. Like when I lost my dad, even the very day I lost him, as I was packing for his funeral, I could find the gratitude in the fact that I had a dad. I know that not everybody has a dad. We were coaching a soccer team at that time with 2 different teams at the same year. And on both of our teams, there were some girls there that had lost their father. They were 7, and I'm like, I was in my 30s. So I can still find the gratitude, even those situations, and find the blessing that there was for me. And that keeps me out of being the victim state and it allows me to move forward. and say, look, I've got something here I want to do on this earth. I want to make the biggest impact I can make while I'm here. And you know what? So I can't sit in being a victim or being, why me? Because you know what? Why not me? There are so many people that have so many struggles that are way more challenging than anything I've experienced. So no matter what happens these days in my life, I'm like, it's a minor inconvenience. It's an annoyance. I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, why is this happening? Or complain about it. It's like, I'll just fix it and then I'll move on.
I love the attitude. I love the attitude. You were always like this?
I've been like this, yeah, I don't know why.
Well, I'm going to say it's divine. I think, this is just a gift that you have within yourself. Because I think for myself and for many that I've worked with, we've had to cultivate that. That's not something that has come naturally for us. For me, more than anything, it has taken me a lot of obstacles. And I will admit, I have not necessarily intentionally, but been in the role of the victim and almost got comfortable being in the role of the victim. Right. But eventually that sort of wore out, so to speak, and came to realize that being a victim wasn't getting me anywhere and life wasn't getting any better, and it just perpetuated to me just feeling worse and worse and worse and just getting to a point where I wanted to end my life. So I went in the direction of being this victim and being victimized and the woe is me and but it helped bring me out into a place where you're talking about now, where I'm not a victim and I try my hardest to see no matter what is going on, there's always something to learn, right? Whether it's a good experience, a not so good experience, or something in between, there's always something to learn. So I love your tip, and I hope my listeners out there are tuning into this and making note of this. It's really important for us to have gratitude and, exercise that gratitude every day to help put things into perspective for us. So if you're someone out there right now that feel like you're a victim or that you've been used or you've been taken advantage of, you've been mistreated, I'm not by any means trying to minimize what you've been through, but understanding that you don't have to stay there, right? You can definitely see you're still alive. We're still breathing. We have actually overcome those circumstances. And so now we have an opportunity to be able to see what we can learn from it so that we can continue to evolve as a human being and continue to move forward with our lives. So remember to be grateful. If nothing else in this world, we have tons to be grateful for. I know for myself, just getting up in the morning and being grateful that I have breath in my lungs, right? And I didn't die in my sleep. That is enough gratitude to get me to get through this day and realize that there's so many other things that could be happening, but the fact that I'm alive today, that there's purpose just in the fact that I'm alive. So anything else you want to share before we really get in? Because I want you to tell me a little bit more about what drove you. You said you've written a couple more books before, but I'd like to know what is special about this book and what inspired you to go in this direction and have this collaboration for your new up and coming book, Believe.
I love working in collaboration. I love it. And it brings like-minded people. When people come together with a good heart and pure soul, magic can happen. I think that's how we change the world. Instead of complaining about the things that are wrong in the world, when we come together, say, let's do something about it. Because I truly, truly believe that when there's nothing that we cannot accomplish, hunger does not need to be a thing anywhere in the world. When we come together and we want to solve it, guess what? It's going to get solved.
Amen.
So that's the book. I wanted to do it with a group of friends. I wanted to do it with people that want to elevate humanity, want to inspire, want to make a difference. And like 18 of us, there are 18 of us have come together, and, all of these souls have just been they inspire me. They give me so much love and support in my life. And I want to share the wisdom of all of you with the world. And proceeds from this book are going to go help me finish building these sustainability centers that I want to build in Sierra Leone and Uganda. And I was thinking, this is a good way. This is the perfect way, because there's a divine hand on it. I'm bringing people to God. God gave me this great passion and this great mission. I'm grateful for the blessings that he gave me, because look at the work I get to do. And if I can make somebody's life better and show them that, no matter what you're going through, there is light on the other side. So keep going. That's what I want. I want to give people hope, because I think, when you don't have hope, that's when you can stay in that place of feeling like you're a victim. Know that this too shall pass. And I think this book is a great demonstration of that, written in so many different voices. One of our authors is 16. Her chapter is so powerful. I mean,
Wow.
I can't even wait to get this out there. I wish I could get it out today, but it's not quite ready. But it's so powerful. Getting to read every single one of your chapters, it's been, I cried almost every one of them.
You're such a philanthropist to see that you have these divine souls coming together to share their stories of experience and share their strength to give hope to other people. And while at the same time, you're taking the financial profit or the proceeds from this to continue to help other people. I find that to be the most beautiful and amazing thing, right? And this isn't for everybody. And if someone takes offense to this, I'm going to apologize now. But oftentimes we do things, or we do projects of any kind, and we come back to that me concept, right? And I'm going to do this project, and I'm going to reap a financial benefit from that. And what's beautiful to hear you say is you're going to get the finances from this project, but those finances are going to go to someone who's so much more in need than you may be, right? Or that you are. And I'm going to try not to cry. You're a beautiful soul. It is not something, and maybe I need to get out in the world more. I know that there's so many more people out there like yourself, but it's truly a pleasure and an honor to know someone such as yourself that lives your life in that manner, that you're willing to be able to, you're not just doing this for you, you're doing this just for the greater good. Because not only is this book and what all these authors have come together to share about how they came to understand the God of their understanding, that helps on one level. But now that when these books are sold, the money that comes from this is going to give little boys and little girls, men and women in that country, just water to drink. And that fascinates me only because, I so can readily just get up from here right now and go grab a bottle of water without a given thought that I just know my bottle of water is going to be there. The water, when I turn the sink on, that water is going to come out of the faucet. But you've got people that you are around that don't even know, where the water is going to come from, because you have to build it from scratch. So just my hat off to you for just being such a beautiful spirit and a beautiful human being, to be obedient to the God of your understanding. And you're clearly chosen, and you're being called, and you're being obedient to follow that and to do what you're called to do. And I'm going to try not to be too starstruck right now.
Thank you, Natashah. I mean, these children, I know, and I love them, and I've known them for years, and watching them grow, I feel like they're my children, so this is what you do for your children, don't you? You provide for them and make sure that they're okay. And so it's not, to me, it's not that bit magnanimous of a thing. It's like, these are my kids. I got to take care of my kids. So it's from the heart of a mom.
Well, I'm putting it out there in the universe. I am going to go overseas, and this time you're not going to go alone. You're going to have a partner in crime to go with. This is just some of the stuff that I have just often dreamed about, and just waiting for that moment and that opportunity in time just to be able to give back. Because I too agree with you that with all of my story that people know and that I've shared, no matter what I've been through, I am still so very blessed and rich in my life. And when I say rich, I don't mean monetarily, right? I'm just rich, just spiritually, and just rich with joy and fulfillment. And I want other people to experience it. Hence the reason why I do this podcast, is so that other people can, understand that there is hope, no matter what you've gone through, guys and gals, whatever you've gone through in life, life is not over. You're right. We're not at the end. If anything, we're just at the beginning. So I'm hopeful that this conversation today, and I'm asking you guys to support my girl, Dawn Airhart Witte, with this new book that's coming out. She has her book launch November 11th. You guys will not be disappointed. Again, you have 18 authors coming together, and everyone is giving you a very different perspective and a very different experience on how they came to believe in the God of their understanding. Do you want to can you talk a little bit more about that in terms of what are you hoping to either inspire, or what are you hoping that those that purchase the book will get from this, from what we've all come together to write?
Perspective. And also, when you share stories of something that's happened to you where you can't explain it other than, something that there was something there, I want people to hear those stories, because I was skeptical again myself until I started having some of these experiences, and then talking to people about some of these experiences and seeing, this is not a fluke. And the more you are open to it, the more of these experiences you will have, the more of these signs you will get, and the more of this, undefinable, like you can't explain it from just our normal state of consciousness. When people start hearing more and more of those stories, if it plants a seed in their head to believe and allow themselves to, again, surrender to whatever divine power that is for you, and you will see things happen in your life that you would not have imagined. Because I want everybody to live that life instead of sitting in the place where it's like, well, this happened to me and it made me really sad. Dream, step into your dreams, take those leaps of faith. And then you won't have time to be thinking about all the icky things or the negative things, or even the things that are currently happening. You'll be able to walk away from those things saying, you know what? God is going to keep the right people in my life. God is going to keep the right situations and circumstances in my life. And so I'm going to keep having faith. And then more and more of those things will start coming to you that you would have never even expected.
So very true. Well, I can't wait. Like you're the author, you're the visionary behind this great book that's coming out. So excited for you. And again, so honored to be a part of this collaboration. I have done one anthology before, and I'm not really a big fan of anthologies. It's just my own personal thing. And it was interesting because prior to you asking me, I was like, I did the first one. And my goal behind doing my first anthology was to sort of get my feet wet, really, with just writing. Because my audience and people that I've worked with have been waiting for me to write my own book, and I haven't done that yet. So I know a lot of people saying, okay, the clock is ticking. So that was my only reason for stepping into the anthology initially. And I didn't anticipate of doing another anthology. But like I said to you, the day that we spoke, the very first day, I didn't even give it a second thought, because for those that know me know that I don't have an opinion about whether you're religious or you're not religious, right? But like you, I have been through enough in my life where I was influenced by religious beliefs. I went through a period of my life where I didn't believe in anything. Coming into recovery, my eyes were open to the Alcoholics Anonymous, and learning a lot about through sponsorship and the 12-step program about the second step says, I came to believe that there's a power greater than me. And that was life-changing for me, because all of my life I heard God, and God was described in a particular manner that I believed, I'm not going to say anyone put that on me, I believed that I clearly had done something wrong. I clearly had made mistakes. I clearly have messed up my life. So God's never going to forgive me. So, God and I must part ways, right? Coming into recovery and learning more about understanding that there's a power greater than me. And there's been many times in my life where I may have walked away from this God consciousness, but that God consciousness still lived inside of me. It still existed, because let me tell you, there have been so many times in my life I could have been dead or hurt more, or something more could have potentially gone wrong, and it didn't. And it wasn't because of my doing. You know what I mean? It wasn't because of me. There was something greater than me. So AA truly opened the door for me to be able to understand about this power and God consciousness. And then you coming into my life in a short period of time and asking me to share my experience it was not something I could say no to. So I just want to thank you for that opportunity, and also being able to have this conversation and opening a door for so many other people out there that may have been had a negative experience with religion, or may have their opinions about religion and or God, right? This book, these stories, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to learn to hear about just life experiences. And the life experiences that are going to be shared in this book is going to make some of you probably make your head spin. and you go, okay, well, that's just not even, humanly possible, right? Some of the experiences that you'll read about. So we hope that this book gives you an opportunity to change your perspective on how you view the higher power concept, right? A power greater than yourself, and how you view God consciousness and God consciousness within you and not external of you. Miss Dawn, is there anything additional that you would like to share with our listeners today? Any words of wisdom or anything more with regards to this upcoming launch that you'd like to share?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for having me. I could talk to you forever. I always love to leave people with the notion that we all have the ability to make someone's day brighter and to be the change we wish to see in the world, whether it's giving somebody a smile, saying hello. Those things do not cost money. And I'm telling you, it makes you feel good. And to know that you might have brightened somebody else's day. So, we can all do that.
Very true. Anything else you want to add? I feel like there's so much more you want to say, and I want you to just, if there's anything left that you want to share with the world.
Well, we'll be doing the book launch, as you said, November 11th at 11 o'clock, and we're going to be doing it on Facebook Live. And, I want people to join us. We're going to have an entertainer called One of Africa. He is amazing. Again, all the people that have come together on this collaboration have been chosen by God. I know that, and I just can't wait to share all of you together with each other, because they're the most amazing group of people I know, and with the world.
If someone wanted to have this continued conversation with you and know a little bit more, get to know you a little bit better, or anything relative to the book and or your foundation, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you?
They can go to my foundation website. It's desirettoinspirefoundation.org. They can find me on social media. It's Dawn Airhart Witte. And, reach out, just reach out. I'm all over the place. I'm on LinkedIn, so if you want to learn more about what we're doing, the work that we're doing in Africa, look at our website, see our beautiful children. Our little book of B that we've given out to about 2,500 children is on our Desire to Inspire website for free. You can download it, and, just say some prayers for my kids, say a prayer for the children of the world. That helps too. I believe in the power of prayer.
Amen to that. And I definitely will be doing that for you and our listeners out there. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you guys got a chance to get to know a little bit about Dawn, you want a Dawn in your life. If you have one already, you better hold on to them for dear life. And if you don't have a Dawn, you're welcome to call this Dawn. She is truly amazing. And if you need love and you want to be inspired, you want to be encouraged, you want to know that you belong or that you're a part of something, she's definitely someone that is going to make you feel that just within minutes of talking with her. So, Miss Dawn, it's been such an honor, and it's been so great to have you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to Getting to the Root of It. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please be on the lookout for this book, Believe, launching November 11th. If you guys want to know more about it or have questions, you can reach out to Dawn or you can reach out to me. All right. Have a blessed day, everyone. Hi, my name is Natashah Khan. I am a personal development coach. I am a published author, motivational speaker, and I'm here with an opportunity for you today. Do you ever sometimes feel sort of stuck, not really sure where you're heading in life, or looking back on your life and thinking, I didn't quite always accomplish the things that I wanted? Do you struggle with fear and/or anxiety, or you worry all the time? Or maybe you find yourself constantly giving to everyone else, but never really taking time to give to yourself. Or maybe you identify as a codependent and you realize that it's time for you to stop giving so much of yourself to everyone else and to stop and take time to give back to you. Well, you've come to the right place. On Monday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I host a group that is a private group, so it's invitation only, to members who come together to begin to support each other, lift each other up, inspire each other, and learn the tools necessary on how to find their freedom, how to empower their voices, speak their truth, and discover their authentic selves. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, you are welcome to reach out to me via email at empoweredvoices45@gmail.com. Again, that is empoweredvoices45@gmail.com. If you are looking to change your life, you are looking to transform and live the life that you've been destined to live, please don't hesitate to reach out today.